welcome to your English lesson today, Once in a Lifetime by John Gullidge. This is our 9th lesson of 15 lessons. Okay, before we begin, I want you to make sure you've got a pencil or a pen and a piece of paper or your home learning book. Go and get all of those things together and then press play and continue the lesson. Press pause now. Okay, so today we're going to write it. My turn, write it, your turn. My turn, write it, your turn. We are going to write a diary entry. Okay, so we're going to be writing a diary entry and we're going to be using the 3 features that we learned about this week. We're going to use first person, informal language, and time-fronted adverbials. And if you do all of these things in your diary entry, it's going to be really great. Okay, let's just remind ourselves of what first person is. When the story is told from my point of view using I, we call it the first person. Let's say that together. When the story is told from my point of view using I, we call it the first person. When the story is told from my point of view using I, we call it the first person. And here's an example of a first person sentence. I saw several turtles flying towards me. So I've used I and me. That tells us that it's written in first person. I'm telling the story. Okay, informal language. Informal language is used when we are more relaxed and with people we know well. For example, your family and friends. Let's read that together. Informal language is used when we are more relaxed and with people we know well. For example, your family or friends. Informal language is used when we are more relaxed and with people we know well. For example, your family or friends. And my example there is that film was awesome. So awesome is really informal language. You're going to use it with your family and friends, not in a formal setting. Okay, and time-fronted adverbial. A time-fronted adverbial tells us when something happens, it comes at the front of a sentence. Let's say that together. A time-fronted adverbial tells us when something happens, it comes at the front of the sentence. A time-fronted adverbial tells us when something happens, it comes at the front of the sentence. And so it tells us when something happens. And my example here is later that day, I saw the most fantastic sight. When did I see the most fantastic sight? Later that day. That is my time-fronted adverbial. Okay, so here is some of my writing. And I want you to see, have I used first person? Have I used informal language? And have I used any time-fronted adverbials? If I've used all of those things, then it should be a really great diary. Dear diary, tomorrow's the day. I can't believe it. Last week I sat through the toughest interview of my career and now here I am. This morning the shipwright called to say he'd fixed the engine on the boat and she was ready to go on an awesome adventure. With no time to lose, I've had to spend today organising my stuff and making arrangements for while I'm gone. I'm so excited. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Yippee! Okay, so have I used first person? Have I used informal language? And have I used time-fronted adverbials? I want you to have a little look through my writing and check that I've achieved all of those things. Press pause now. Okay, great. So you're back. So I've definitely used first person throughout. I've said last week, and that is when. That's a time-fronted adverbial. This morning, that's another time-fronted adverbial. And I've definitely got some informal language there. I've said yippee and excited, so excited, and organising my stuff, not my equipment, but my stuff, and an awesome adventure. I've really made it a chatty, informal diary. Okay. Let's move on to the next page. Okay, so just like last week, I want us to be thinking about who our audience is. our writing task this week is to write a diary in character for someone in our class. But who will you choose? I am going to try really hard to make my diary funny. I want to bring some humour, and I know that Miss Malcolm really likes to read humorous and funny books. So I'm going to write mine for Miss Malcolm. I'm going to try and make her really laugh and have a giggle. Who are you going to write yours for? Who do you think might enjoy reading a diary that you've written? And what kind of style are you going to write for your friend? We all love diary stories and diary books, so I'm sure there's lots of people you can choose. I want you to think about that person and keep them in mind when you're doing your writing. And your diary will be based on the film Once in a Lifetime. Okay, so we know the story Once in a Lifetime really well, and we can add some extra bits to it if we want to. But here is the main story, and we've done this so many times. We've drawn it, we've stepped it out, we've spoken it, we've written a narrative retell. So we really, really know what happened really, really well. Okay, but let's just have a little look at the pictures and remind ourselves. So at the beginning, and I'm going to talk in first person, so I get myself used to being in first person. So I'm pretending that I'm the adventurer when I'm having a look at these pictures to jog my memory. So I'm the explorer, and I'm looking out from my boat out across the clouds, and oh no, disaster, my rudder has fallen. But look at what I can see from the distance, some flying sea turtles. Hurrah, I look to the sky. I'm so grateful. I've got a great plan. So I rush to the front of my boat. I pick up my trusty rope. I lasso it around one of the turtles' necks, and off we are, flying through the sky. But oh no, drat, my rope has snapped. But it's okay. I'm going to steady myself and jump onto the back of the sea turtle that's coming from behind, and I'm saved. Okay, so that is what happens in the story, in the diary that we're going to be writing today. Okay, I'm going to go back to our example, and I've just circled Dear Diary because all diaries begin with Dear Diary and a comma, and then the writing starts on a new line. That's really, really important. We write Dear Diary and comma, and then we start our writing on a new line. I'm going to read this to you again. You might want to magpie some of the ideas. Okay, Dear Diary. Tomorrow's the day. I can't believe it. Last week I sat through the toughest interview of my career, and now here I am. This morning the shipwright called to say he'd fixed the engine on the boat, and she was ready to go on an awesome adventure. With no time to lose, I've had to spend today organising my stuff and making arrangements for while I'm gone. I'm so excited. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Yippee! Okay, so that is an example of a diary. Now, I've also got another bit here, another part of the diary that I wanted to share with you and might give you some more ideas for your writing. I'm going to read it to you now. As these magnificent creatures flew past, I looked to the sky. Woohoo! Cheers! This could be my chance to be saved from the ship. I was so excited and relieved. I couldn't believe my luck. I'd been stuck on the ship going nowhere for days, but now I had a chance to escape. But I'd have to be quick. Immediately I ran to the front of the ship and got my trusty rope. Or at least I thought it was trusty. So that's another example there. So we're going to begin our writing now, and you're going to write the diary. You should probably have about 5 or 6 paragraphs at least. You need to make sure that you're writing your diary in first person, that you're using informal language, and that you're using time-fronted adverbials as well. Who are you writing your diary for? Keep that person in your head. Think about what kind of writing they like to read. Okay, what you could do is you could keep this page up in front of you to help you with some ideas, or you could use the previous page. I'm going to ask you to pause, and then I'm going to get you to write your diary. If you would like to have this page, you can press pause now and begin your diary. Press pause. Or you may wish to write with this page up in front of you. And if you do, press pause now. Okay, super. So you're back and you've written your diary. You've used first person, you've used informal language, and you've used time-fronted adverbials throughout. Okay, so we're going to stop, and tomorrow we're going to continue once in a lifetime. Tomorrow we're going to get on with our editing session. I just want you to have a quick read over your writing, and I want you to really celebrate how well you've done in your writing today. If you've done this writing, we are so proud of you. It's not an easy thing to do, writing on your own at home, but well done. If you've done it, you should be really proud of yourselves. Have a lovely rest of your day, and we'll be back again tomorrow. Take care. Bye.